No, it's not frozen, y'all. It's your boy, Jordan Williams, aka Mr. Pull the Trigger Bang Bang. Please don't forget the bang bang. And this is part 4 of my entrepreneurial journey. And you've been with me from part 1, 2 to 3, right? And I appreciate y'all, and I appreciate you guys staying tuned and showing your interest in my entrepreneurial journey and how I got started. And hopefully somehow, some way this relates to you and inspires you to get started in becoming an entrepreneur and taking on your own life and going after your dreams and building something for yourself. But this is part 4, right? Let's talk about how I got into D&R Electronix and, you know, what I've learned through D&R Electronix and how I got to where I am with D&R Electronix and my brick and mortar business that I've talked about a couple of times. So, as you guys know, I met up with Drew, I signed the contract, I got started with D&R Electronix. I'm a franchisee and I'm gonna open my first store in Redlands. But before all that, let's take you back. I had to learn how to repair cell phones. I never repaired a cell phone in my life. I've never considered repairing a cell phone in my life. I've worked on cars, not very successful. So I was like, yo, am I gonna be able to learn this cell phone repair stuff? But Drew said in the contract, and it was part of the franchises that trained me, and I was gonna know how to do it, right? And I believed them. So I went every single day, right, to the shop, our first shop, or the first shop in Riverside, and I learned. I went in there to learn every day I could and put in as much hours as possible so I can learn this business so I'm ready when it's time to open my store, right? In the mix of that, I was looking for a location, right? I had to figure out where I wanted to be, had to find a location. I actually had to get a realtor to help me find a location because, right, I was working at Walmart. So I needed someone to look for locations while I was working at Walmart, and I'm over here training too. So I had to hire a realtor. Luckily, my mom had a friend who's a realtor and she actually helped me out, right? So big ups to Dina. I really appreciate her for helping me find my very first location while I was at work. I remember she gave me the call while I was at work because she found the perfect spot in Redlands and I was down. So I trained for, I don't know, I would say like 2 to 3 months while I was finding the location. And once I found the location, we pulled the trigger on that, right? Hence the name, Mr. Pull the Trigger. Bang bang, right? I pulled the trigger on that and we started the build out for the Redlands location, my very first location, my baby, my first franchise, and we had to build it out, right? Let me tell you guys, I've never owned a store, built it out, had rent, right? I didn't have any. This is all brand new to me, right? I just go with the flow and I'm learning, right? I can't learn it all, you know, before I get started. I might not never get started. How about just get started and learn it while you're in the process? So that's what I decided to do. So, right, we're building the store out, I'm painting, I'm building it out, we're getting parts in, we're getting displays in, we're making it D&R, and I'm just learning the process. And you know, within a week we had the store built out thanks to my family, my friends, right, for helping me build it out, right? Because I'm not a one-man team. You know, you have people with you that help you build up and help you accomplish your dreams. And even if they're not, you know, building a business or in the industry that you're in, if they ever need help, you better reach back and pull them up too if they supported you at any time in your journey. And I'm definitely willing to do that, and I'm definitely about that, and I'm appreciative to them. So we had the store up in a week, right? My first day at the shop, I didn't know what was gonna happen. I don't know how advertising works. I didn't know if people were gonna come in. I had one repair my first day. I remember an iPhone 6. I was so shaky and nervous. I didn't want to mess it up. This is my first customer in my business. It was an $80 repair at the time. I did the iPhone 6 for a customer. He waited in the lobby, and you know, I'm just freaking out. I'm shaking. Took me like 30 minutes, but I got it done. He was happy. It was successful. And the rest is really history. I just kept building from there and building from there and building from there, thanks to the support of D&R Electronix and the different franchisee and the crew members for teaching me everything I learned, because I was able to successfully run my business. I hired my first employee. He worked for me for about 4 months because I still worked at Walmart. So I started to go to work, right? Even though my store was open 6 days a week, I worked 3 days a week at Walmart. So I started to go to work and put in my hours. So I had to hire an employee. He worked for me about 4 months. I had to let him go. We just didn't agree on how the money should be deposited, you know? Go figure. So I had to let him go, and then I had to start working again. The issue was that my shop's open when I'm supposed to be at work. So the reason why I got fired at Walmart, as you found out in part 3, is because I had to leave work to go open the shop because I had a responsibility to make sure my shop operated. And unfortunately, I just couldn't last at Walmart, so at that time I had to quit. Luckily, my business was successful, right? It was doing well, and it was actually doing well enough to where I could quit and comfortably live my life, still run the vending machines, still had the Amazon going on, and I had a shop now. And I was making enough money to where I didn't need to have this job anymore. So I was okay with getting fired. And you know, it was a blessing in disguise. I always told myself since Polo at Amazon, I was like, this is gonna be my last job. I swear I'm gonna start a business, I'm gonna make it happen, right? That didn't work. I went to Walmart, I was like, yo, this is gonna be my last job. I'm not getting no more jobs, right? This is it, right? I got fired and I was like, yo, this is my last job. And like I said, fortunately enough, I was lucky enough to have a successful business, right? Because I put myself out there and I was ready when the opportunity presented itself. So I worked it, I worked it, and I worked it, right? I hired more employees, 2 more employees. They were great, right? Shout out to Hoseby and Savannah. They were great. They went in their different paths since then, but they definitely helped me build it in that time, right? I was able to convince my brother to franchise a store with me, and now we have store 2. And I'm like, yo, now we got store 2. I'm jacked up. I got 2 stores. I got Redlands, I got Lake Elsinore. I worked that store for 6 months before we hired anybody. And you know, it just turned out that one of my employees wanted to leave, and I had to go back to Redlands to work, you know, before I found another employee. So we had to hire an employee for Lake Elsinore, and then I worked Redlands, and then I hired a new employee for Redlands. This is all in about a 2-year span. I hired a new employee, but then the opportunity presented itself for me to become part of the corporation of the company, to become CFO of the company. I didn't have second thoughts about it. I was ready to go. They showed me what needed to be done, and I got it done. And you know, I became the CFO of the company. So I went from having 2 stores to now having 6, but at the time it was 4. And now I'm the owner of 4 stores. I got more employees, and I'm making it happen. It was just because I was prepared for the opportunity that I was able to make that happen. I'm not special. I just stay ready so I don't have to get ready. That's a lesson that I learned in MLM. Speaking of MLM, I quit. Did I mention that I quit? I quit MLM about the 2nd year into owning the shop. I quit MLM in like 2017. It just wasn't working for me anymore. The biggest reason why I got out of MLM is because I was tired of trying to convince people that they can be wealthy and they can be successful. So that's why I quit MLM, because I was looking for people that weren't really looking for what I was looking for. So that's why I quit that. So I got the shops, right? I'm CFO. I have the vending machines. At this point, I'm at 5 locations with 10 machines, and I was actually out of the Amazon business, right? Because this is year 3. I was out of the Amazon business. Just fortunately enough, I have friends that bug me and bug me and bug me, and family, and they really wanted to get started in Amazon. And I mean, you probably heard the story in previous videos, so I'm not gonna go over that. But in year 4 of Amazon, we quit in year 3. In year 4, we built a team and we built a real business. And that's how in year 4 we did over $200,000 in sales, but you guys already know about that. So that's not important. It's just about the journey. So that's how I got to here. Was all these people that I met and all the people that supported me. I didn't get here alone. I got here with partners. I got here with friends. I got here with gurus. I got here with YouTube influencers. I learned, I did the research, and that's how I got here today. But as you can see from part 1, I was just a regular kid. I was just going to school and going to work. That's all I was doing. I wasn't special. There wasn't some special thing. I wasn't just given to me. The opportunity didn't just fall in my lap. I prepared myself, and I was just ready when it was presented. So that's it, guys. Right now you're caught up. Now you know how I got to where I am today. So I appreciate you guys staying with me till part 4, right? We're all caught up now, so every other video should make sense. If you ever get confused on how I am where I am, just go back and check out part 1, 2, 3, and 4 to see how I got here. Now, what you're really gonna be interested in is part 5, right? In part 5, within all this time span from 18 to 28, which is how old I am now, I'm gonna tell you all the businesses that I started that failed. right? It wasn't just the businesses that I have now. I'm gonna tell you about all the businesses that I started up and failed in, and it just didn't, you know, make money like I thought it was gonna make money. So stay tuned for part 5 so I can go over all the failures that I had during this time, right? That should be interesting. I'm not perfect, I'm learning, and failure to me is a lesson. So if you're out there failing, stay tuned for part 5, tune in, and see all the stuff that I failed in. Alright guys, it's your boy Jordan, Mr. Pull the Trigger Bang Bang, signing out with the Diversified Income Project. Peace.